Welcome to West Country Wanderings and a big welcome from Wales. I'm here in Welshpool, in Powys in fact. You're probably thinking, oh, that's not in a West Country area. Well, no, it's not. And the reason I'm up here is because I'm currently filming the Severn Way. I've just done 2 parts of that. I'm about to head back home today to Gloucestershire. But before I do that, I thought I'd take a trip and have a look at Powis Castle. Now, I understand Powis Castle has some fabulous gardens, National Trust property, so we'll be there in a minute. Before I show you that though, we're here by the side of the Montgomery Canal, known unofficially as the Monty, and this started to be restored in the 1960s, and there was a project to completely restore the basin. And we'll be looking at the Monty in more detail when we make our way further along the Severn Way, because the Severn Way walks along, or it follows a towpath for the lot of the length between Newtown and Welshpool. So why not join me here to visit Powis Castle. Now behind me here is Welshpool Town Lock. And just around that way there's a wharf with the Canal Museum, so I'm going to have a look at that. Probably won't be able to film around there, but I'll see if I can insert some photographs on my visit before heading over to the castle here in Welshpool. So this is Lanford behind me, the wharf, which houses the Canal Museum as well as Welshpool's Town Library. So here I am at Powis Castle. The actual castle itself opens at 12 o'clock, so I'm here with the old coffee, just about to go into the gardens, and we'll have a trip around the beautiful gardens here before making our way inside the castle. Most welcome here on West Country Wanderings. Now these stunning terrace gardens here at Powis Castle were constructed under the direction of one William Wynne, that's W-I-N-D-E, and William de Bow between 1670 and 1710, and they're often thought of as being the finest gardens in Wales. Well, I'm certainly not going to dispute that, because from what I've seen so far, been absolutely blown away, certainly by the backdrop here as well, looking over the town of Welshpool and the hills behind. Absolutely stunning gardens here in Wales. And it's said that the garden designs here are based on Cliveden. I think it's spelt Cliveden, but pronounced Cliveden, in Buckinghamshire somewhere that I've not been to. It's got connotations with the governments and royal families over the years. But yeah, that's National Trust as well. And they say the designers based the model from that and transferred it here. I'm not sure if that's true or not. It seems to be a bit of speculation around it, but whichever way it is, it's absolutely stunning gardens here. I'm blown away because you go through all these hedges and topiary and you turn a corner and you get blown away by another new vista which you hadn't previously seen. Amazing. Well, I've just gone in the castle and unfortunately I'm afraid to say I've had to come back out of it after just a few minutes, just a few things to explain at this point in the video. The castle, unlike a lot of National Trust properties, doesn't have timed entrances. Now, I'm used to going into castles and stately homes where you get a slot 12, 1 o'clock. They don't seem to operate that system here. I'm not sure why. We're currently in half term. Needless to say, the castle was very, very busy, added to which it has very narrow staircases and it's extremely dark and there's lots of people inside. I couldn't tolerate it, I'm afraid. As you know, I don't like crowded places. Added to which, with the noise and all the people in there, I just couldn't handle it. So within a few minutes of going in there, I had to come out again. I've come into the wonderful deer park here. It's just started to rain again, but I'm under this fantastic oak tree here. But yeah, it's a beautiful park, but the castle, I know it's claimed, from the bits that I saw, I know it's claimed to be Wales's fabulous castle inside. I didn't, apart from putting my mental health experiences in, so that's the cattle grid behind me, aside, I didn't actually rate it that highly, to be honest. And I know that's probably a controversial opinion, because I know a lot of people do like Powis Castle, but it's not for me. That's not to say that I don't recommend people come to visit, because the gardens certainly make up for the inside of the castle. Even if I visited on a quiet day, I don't think I would have enjoyed it. It's, as I say, it's extremely dark, and the colours are very interesting. I mean, there is some beautiful paintings in there, and there are some beautiful tapestries, but the layout is, quite frankly, horrid. Give me a castle like Goodrich any day. But that's my controversial aside. I'm feeling better now. I felt green at the gills and I had a panic attack. My heart rate was thumping out and I thought I was going to pass out. I actually asked one of the guides the quickest way out, and she showed me there's like a green staircase, but I presume it's like the servants' quarters. I went out that way. But yeah, so be warned, if you're like me and you struggle with crowded, noisy places, or you have claustrophobia or anything like that, I'd probably recommend that you don't come here in terms of the castle, but the gardens are completely something else. I actually enjoyed those. I am going to go back into the gardens because I've missed an entire section of them, the lake. It's still about 2 o'clock, so we've got a couple of hours still to do some filming here. And yeah, we'll have a look around that. But they don't kind of advertise the park. I've actually come in down the road, it says exit for the cars. They don't really seem to want you in the park. I'm not entirely sure why that should be the case, because it's fantastic. Again, that's that cattle grid going there. That's the road entrance on the way out. But it's well worth spending the time to have a look, because it's certainly up there with somewhere like Charlecote over in Warwickshire, which is equally as nice, but I prefer Charlecote's inside. But there we go, that's just my opinion. I'm sure you've got a different opinion, but if you've been here, I'd love to know what you think. Yes, I'll do a bit of filming around here once the rain stops, and then I'll see you in a bit. So yeah, if you do come here, before you drive out, if you've come here by car that is, and you haven't walked from Welshpool railway station, before you drive out, walk around the side of the cattle grid on the road going out, and you'll see this magnificent lake, which is filled with, well, at the moment at least, flowering water lilies. Beautiful spot here, and there's no one here. Everyone masses around just by the cafe, toilets, castle, all that in that small area there, but there's much else beside that here, and I certainly feel more at home here than I did inside the castle earlier on. Well, I thought while I'm here in the park, we'd play something that we haven't done for a while, not since the Cotswold Way on West Country Wanderings, and that's the game of Name That Tree. Now, just walking through the park, heading my way back down to the gardens, and I immediately recognised this tree because, and I've just confirmed it with identification with my guidebook, because a couple of years ago I was at RHS, that's the Royal Horticultural Society, at Rosemore in North Devon near Great Torrington. And one of these trees was fully in flower. I can't remember what month it was, perhaps July, August time. This one isn't in flower, but I will insert right about now, see if I can find a photograph of one. If not, I'll take a photograph from my guidebook and insert that. But this is what the leaf looks like. That is the leaf. So very, very distinctive leaf. And you can see on the leaf, it has these cutaway sections here, and a distinctive cutaway section there. So it's very unlike, say, a sycamore or oak or an ash tree. It's quite distinctive from that. We'll just have a look from the outside so I can give you a profile of what the tree does. Before I do that, I'll just spin the camera around so you can see what the bark looks like. This is the bark behind me of this particular tree, and you see it's quite knobbly and gnarly. This is just a guess, say it's probably about 150 to 200 years old, this tree. They are often ornamental trees. You don't see them, you wouldn't go to an ordinary wood like, say, my wood in Gloucestershire and see one of these growing amongst a load of oak and ash tree, because they are ornamental and they have been brought into this country, and I'll tell you more about that shortly. So you'd only see them in ornamental parks like, say, National Trust properties or gardens around cities. So I saw it in the RHS one fully in flower. But yeah, we'll just do a close-up of that. Just pointing with this big stick, something which is quite unique to this tree, and that's the branches. And you notice there they've got the main branch which is growing out, but the secondary branches, rather than growing out this way as you would normally see on a tree, on that side, they're actually growing upwards in a vertical plane. So another thing that's, I wouldn't say completely unique to this tree, but it's quite rare, and it's something you don't normally see in deciduous woodlands in the UK. And this is the wide view of the tree, if you like, so you can see its shape there. I'll just now explain what this tree is. This tree is Liriodendron tulipifera. You might be thinking from that it comes from the rhododendron family. Well, actually it doesn't, but the tulip part of the second name of the Latin gives you a clue as to what this tree is. And it is, of course, the tulip tree, but it's not related to tulips, but it's actually related to the magnolia family. Now, the flowers on this tree form between May to July. I've just had a look at this tree, although we're coming into July. In fact, it's June, sorry, should have said tomorrow. It's just come to the end of May. It isn't actually flowered yet, as far as I can tell, but I think it will start flowering within the next couple of weeks. And I've noticed things in Wales tend to be about 3 or 4 weeks behind, like what I saw with the bluebells the other day on the Severn Way, behind things in the southwest, my kind of usual area that I cover on the West Country Wanderings area. So I'll insert shots of what the tulip flowers look like, and as I say, they are very similar to what a tulip that we're normally familiar with would look like. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour of the gardens at Powis Castle here today. If you did, please consider a like, subscribe, a comment, or indeed a share. Really particularly indeed those shares. I know some people have been sharing my videos onto Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. You can find me at little A symbol West Country Wand. I don't just talk about my channel on there, just other things as well, but you can find me on there, and you can send me a PM, if you know what it means, on the old Twitter there. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did, apart from my bad experience around the castle. But you may have a different opinion on it. If you come on a quiet day, you might see it in a different perspective to me. But I found it very dark and claustrophobic, even taken outside my experience with my mental health. Until next time on West Country Wanderings, look after yourselves, take care, and I hope to see you on West Country Wanderings again very, very soon. All the best for now. Cheers. Goodbye.